Hi, friends. Today for Read Aloud, I have two books. I have Up, Up, Up. It's Apple Picking Time and Apple Countdown. So we're going to start with Up, Up, Up. It's Apple Picking Time. It's that time of year where you can go pick apples. Ooh, I want to show you this page, friends. There's lots of different kinds of apples. Usually you can see them when you go to the grocery store. Up, 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 it's apple picking time. Mama's voice tickles my ears, whispers me awake. On with my shirt, sweater pants, warm socks, and shoes not tied. Outside it feels as if we're the only ones awake in the whole world. Dad says it's a long drive ahead. Amber uses my shoulder as her pillow. I don't mind. She's keeping me warm while we're driving to the Apple Ranch. 2 picnics later, one for breakfast, one for lunch, we're finally off the highway onto the twisting, bumpy, narrow bridge. 1 car only. Apple tree lined road. There they are, Granny and Grandpa standing at the gate, calling, "Hooray! We're so glad you're finally here. We could hardly wait." "Neither could we say. Then everyone is off to the orchard. It's apple picking time. Apple smell is in the air, apple perfume everywhere. There are so many trees, and it looks like a million apples, red, green, yellow, and pink. I don't know where to start, I tell Grandpa. He pulls a yellow apple off the tree. He puts it to his nose and breathes in like Mama does with a flower. Ah, it's perfect apple aroma, says Grandpa, and we lean in close to smell it too. From his pocket, he takes out his red-handled knife and cuts a slice out of the apple. Have a taste, he says. The apple is cool and crunchy and sweet. Everyone has a slice, and we all stand together in the afternoon sunshine, wishing we could have more. But it's apple picking time. Begin with this golden delicious, Miles, Grandpa tells me. He points to the tree where we're standing and hands me a small sack made from cloth. I give the littlest tug, and the yellow fruit almost falls into my hand. It is as big as my softball. The sack gets heavy fast. Every time it's full, I empty it into a wooden field box. We climb up ladders and disappear into the trees. I can see Dad's legs. His voice is coming from the middle of a tree filled with red apples. He's singing a made-up song about loving apple dumplings and eating apple pie. The tree next to him has Mama's laugh. That's the only way I can tell she's in it. Amber and Granny are picking up the fruit off the ground. Granny says these apples make for the best cider. The mention of cider makes me want some. It's warm work picking apples. I say that already smells as if cider is hiding somewhere in the orchard. The apple orchard perfume you're smelling, Miles, said Granny. Then she surprises us with cups of cool apple juice. All afternoon we fill those apple sacks with delicious, both red and golden, Macintosh, Pippin, Winter Banana, a funny name for an apple if you ask me, and the last few stray Gravensteins. The wagon cart is loaded with boxes, filled to the brim. Daylight runs out fast in that canyon, even in summer. Granny's pippin pie makes a fine end to an apple-picking day. Early to bed. Have to be well rested for an apple-selling day. Up, 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 it's apple selling time. Grandpa's whiskers scratch my cheek, and the smell of breakfast cooking pulls me out of bed. It's Grandpa's morning oatmeal with sweet applesauce. Then we're out to the fruit stand through the dew-wet grass. Grandpa turns over the carved wooden sign, "Cars pull in." Granny, wearing a big straw hat trimmed all around with shiny apples, greets old friends. "These are the grandkids that have come to help," she almost sings the words. Apples are tasted, admired, and bought. We carry bags and boxes of apples to cars for the people who come and go all morning. Lunch is a picnic in the sunshine, but we can hardly sit still enough to eat. It's apple selling time. And then before you can say Macintosh, Granny Smith, golden, delicious pippin pie, the sun has flown away, taking the warmth with it. The sign is turned to closed, and it's time to call it a day. Supper is fresh-baked apple dumplings, floating like islands in a sea of milk. Then there's talking about apple selling day. Grandpa puts old jazz records on his phonograph and dances around with Amber. Even Mama and Dad dance, but I like lying on the rug in front of the fireplace, just watching everyone being happy, wishing we didn't have to go home tomorrow. It's hard to say goodbye. Hello hugs are so much nicer. Sacks full of apples surround Amber and me. We're driving home. The cidery smell helps me remember the happy days of apple picking, apple selling time. The end. The next book I have is Apple Countdown. Field trip day, hooray, says Jose. 20 apples with our name, says James. I see a tag for me, says Lee. 19 kids get on our bus, says Russ. I share with Mr. Yee, says Lee. And he's saying, wiggle, wiggle. I think he's got a loose tooth. 18 miles till we're there, says Claire. 8 miles, turn, then go 10, says Ben. Name 17 things we might see, says Mr. Yee. An apple tree, calls Lee. They thought of lots of different things. 16 steps to the gate, says Kate. Hi, Farmer Appleby, says Lee. 15 cars on a train, says Elaine. 5 yellow, 5 green, 5 red, says Ted. 14 cows, moo, says Sue. That's 12 cows plus 2. 13 ducks, quack, quack, says Zach. 10 white ones and 3 black ones. 12 rows of trees, says Louise, and 11 hives for bees. Yay, it's time to pick, says Nick. Easy as 1, 2, 3, says Lee. 1. Hold apple in hand, pressing stem against the apple with your index finger. 2. Twist upward. 3. Pull gently. I picked small ones. My sack will hold 10, says Ben. I picked bigger ones, says Caroline. My sack will hold 9. Mine are the biggest, says Kate. My sack only holds 8. My 7 apples are green, says Christine. My 6 apples are red, says Ted. Want to trade with me? asked Lee. An apple has 5 holes, each with seeds inside, says Clyde. There are 4 seasons in a year, says Shakir. White branches are bare, says Claire. Spring flowers bloom, pink and white, says Dwight. In summer the apples grow, said Joe. Fall apples are ready to pick, said Nick. 3 apple pies for us, says Russ. How many slices are there? asked Claire. 2 times 6 plus 8, says Kate. 2 o'clock, time to go, says Joe. Crunch, 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 crunch. 1 lost tooth. For me, shouts Lee. See, he lost his tooth. Thanks, Farmer Applebee. They're saying bye. We love apples. We had fun. The end. Thanks for joining me today, friends, and learning more about apples. I'll see you tomorrow.